Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease.
Are you a progressive young leader, a proactive emerging executive, a rising professional? Then you need appropriate cover for your vehicle. Introducing the Pro Motor Plan from Beacon. Car insurance that includes free loss of use, windscreen cover up to $3,500, free special perils, free accident forgiveness. Get Beacon's Pro Motor Plan today. Don't procrastinate. Call Beacon today at 440-4447 or
Looking for the ultimate island experience? Hop on the Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tour and explore Grenada like never before. Feel the tropical breeze, sip on authentic Caribbean rum punch, and cruise through Grenada's stunning scenery in our unique and fun tuk-tuks. It's the perfect blend of adventure and island flavor. Book your unforgettable tour now at ride.gd or call 473-422-1011. Don't just see Grenada, experience it with Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tours today.
Yeah. Welcome to the ride. It's Tuesday on the ride. How you guys doing? I know. Yes, and yes. To answer all your questions. Yes, and yes. Good evening, one and all. Or why my camera is getting blurry. Come on. Focus. There we go. Okay, let me talk to my camera. All right, we're not gonna do this today, okay? We're not gonna do this today. All right, thank you. Sometimes you have to talk to them like children, my babies. All right, guys, welcome to Ride Along Live. I am back here. Yesterday, I dipped out a little bit, but I came right back because I have to be here for just a little bit more, just a little bit longer. For those of you who are asking the question, the answer is no. All right? You know what the question is? The answer is no. I did not return back yet. I am here for very good reasons. But I thought you said you was in transit yesterday. I was in transit yesterday. I made a dip out and I came back. They are close proximity countries. They are small islands right in the proximity. So I just made a dip out and come back. All right? So I'm happy to be here, guys. Today we have an interesting conversation, a very important conversation. And it's something that we've been speaking about for a while, right? We spoke about deportation, mass deportation, with the lawyer extraordinaire, Diane Winter-Fonde, right? Diane Winter-Fonde, as you know, is a legal expert in the U.S., right? Today we're going to take it from a different perspective because we saw a list circulating sometime today, guys. And everybody seemed to get a little bit scared when they saw that list, right? Now, I cannot independently confirm that list. And the list that I'm speaking about is a list of countries and the amount of immigrants that may be deported back to those countries within this short space of time, right? I think in Grenada, they had like about 149. They had thousands from this country, that country. They had an array. What's all this? Made noise. All right. Yeah, so we heard it, and I decided to have this conversation with my good friend Jerry Edwin today, because I think it's important that we ask the question, is the Caribbean islands really ready for an influx of not illegal immigrants? Let me rephrase that. I don't like that term. I don't like the word illegal. We all are here on Earth, and we are somehow placed here. Undocumented people that will be deported from the U.S. Is the Caribbean islands ready. The government, the infrastructure, the legal system, the courts, everything. Is it really ready for an influx of additional individuals? Some of which may, because from what they're saying, from what the ICE and the folks in the US are saying, this first group of people that may be deported from the US, they are um, were involved in crime, illegal activities in the US, and those are the first batch of people that they're saying that may be deported and sent back to the Caribbean. Now we saw what happened in Colombia, right? What happened in Colombia was that the president of Colombia decided that he will not allow the plane to land with the migrants that was sent back, and he was trying to sort of work out some kind of deal so that the folks that are being sent back are treated humanely, right? What was done, the president of the U.S. decided that that was a instant which he claimed of national security. So he blocked he revoked the U.S. visa for the president of Colombia, in addition to his family and other members of parliament, and he inserted a 25% tariff on that particular country, right? Now, I said this before, that we have to be very, very careful on how we handle these situations and this conversation as it relates to taking back. And if we decide not to take back, what type of tariff, what type of embargo that could be placed from the US, which would be detrimental to any country. Because, of course, the Caribbean islands, particularly Grenada and these islands, they rely heavily on tourism. And most of the major source market is the US, some by far, right? So a lot could change, and if the Caribbean islands rely so heavily, an embargo or something like what happened in the case of Colombia placed on any other small island could devastate, could kill the entire economy of that country. So I said, let's have this conversation. And I believe the best person to have this conversation with is lawyer and friend Jerry Edwin. Now, Jerry Edwin is a lawyer here based in Grenada, but Jerry Edwin, for a large number of years, Jerry Edwin lived in the United States. And Jerry Edwin is all about human rights, so he could speak to that topic. So I decided to have this conversation here with my friend Jerry Edwin on this topic here. All right, so guys, share the program. It will be very interesting and informative. Those of you who are undocumented, if you're looking for answers to your immigration problem, we will have continuous conversation pieces with Diana Winter Funday, and encourage you and show you and direct you to areas and places that you could go ahead to adjust your status. We're going to be talking about that. So before I go on as well, I want to state that this program is brought to you by Ride Excursions and Tours, and we encouraging you guys to take advantage of all the excursions and tours available from Ride. We do have our tuk-tuks. Yes, yes, yes. You could book a tuk-tuk ride. You could book an e-bike ride. And of course, we just launched the bike on the sea. We'll tell you a little bit more about that. Of course, you have the e-bike, you have the tuk-tuk, and the bike on the sea. If you haven't tried it yet, you should get hip to it. All of this you could book online at ride.gd. Ridealong Live is brought to you by ride.gd. All right, let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. As I introduce my friend and attorney at law, Mr. Jerry Edwin. Jerry, how you doing?
Good evening, brother. I'm living and sinning. I'm right here,
That's
and it's
right.
a pleasure to be with you again and to be with your audience of, especially those folks in the diaspora.
Yeah, a lot of them
Everyone, and naturally the folks at home. Good evening as well.
absolutely. Jerry, do me a favor. Your camera kind of corner a
Oh, I
little bit.
see.
Yeah,
Let me see if I know how to do this.
yeah. Or center your chair. Or center your chair. That would be
Center
better.
my chair. I kind of
Ah,
move my.
you could come closer because you're far now. I
Oh, I
mean,
see.
that's fine.
Let me see how I could do this.
No
Forgive
problem.
me.
No problem.
Forgive me.
We want. That's even much. That's much better, Jerry.
That's better. Okay.
That's much better. So how you
Okay.
doing? How you been, Jerry?
Well, just doing the work. There's quite a bit to do here.
Yes.
We are trying to get a law library in Grenada so that persons, especially our citizens who want to appear pro se, are
Uh-huh.
able to appear on their own without a lawyer.
Right.
There's nothing in the law, nothing in life says that a person cannot appear in the courts on their own. But we believe that the layperson who wants to appear in the court should have the benefit of legal texts on which they could rely to understand the rules and so forth. So we're working now to get the law library in Grenada back on stream. And I'm certain the current Attorney General, who had been advocating for a long time for the library in St. George's, the public library, to be back on stream, I am sure that she will use her best efforts to ensure that we have a law library up and running. The magistrates court in Victoria had been under some renovation. We had asked that the proceedings there stop until it's remedied. Sometimes you have to burn the house down to fix it.
True.
And we're very happy that the authorities heard the plea of the court staff, the prosecutors, the public, and now we will have, I think, a very decent magistrates court in St. Mark's. So that's what we are working on,
That sounds great, Jerry. That's
along with the regular,
well,
the
Jerry.
job.
Before we get into the topic at hand, I
Yes,
noticed
sir.
you have been representing, continue to represent and speak on very controversial topic. You represented some, continue to represent some very controversial clients. I don't know. How is my friend doing? What's his name? The one from Victoria. He was
Mitch Phillip.
Mitch. Yeah, how is Mitch?
Mitch is doing well. It's really interesting you asked about him because we just had a conference. Just that's why I actually came on late with some experts from Canada
Uh-huh.
and a judge. And I tell you, that case we think will be reversed on appeal.
Oh,
In fact, I am doubly certain. I was certain when the verdict came back that he was guilty of murdering his his
girlfriend.
partner, his domestic partner.
Yeah.
And after the conference with some pathologists, medical experts, and the judge, not in Grenada, but in the Caribbean, I am even more certain that Mitch Phillip will be exonerated in the court of law when the appeal court hears his submissions in July. But Mitch is doing well. He is as you know, he was an expert joiner, and
Yes.
he is the contracted joiner at the prison because
Yes.
so much of the furniture for schools and public places is actually done at the prison. And yes, Mitch is engaged. We see him quite a bit. We spoke to him recently, and I'm hopeful that justice will take its course, and that man will be freed from custody because he did not commit the murder of the young lady. He really
Yeah.
did not.
I happen to
There's no
see.
evidence. There certainly is no evidence of it. None of us were there. A court is about evidence. Absolutely not one shred of evidence. In fact, the evidence was to the contrary that he committed this offense. So we are hopeful and we'll take it all the way until Mitch Phillip is exonerated.
Yeah, I saw Mitch when I went to the prison. I visited
Yes,
the prisoners there and I saw Mitch and he continued to say he's an innocent man. And I said, well, let's hear the appeal. I will take it from there.
yes,
Certainly a
very much. That's
controversial
right.
case.
That
Absolutely.
is correct.
Okay, Jerry, let's dive into some human rights issues. Right
This
after,
issue, let me just, if I can just set the stage, because I heard you're leading. But
yeah.
if you have a question, let me give way to you. Sorry, go on,
No,
sir.
go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jerry. You're the
I
legal.
want to deal first with this issue of what we call deportees to
Right.
distinguish the criminal the criminals who commit, persons who commit criminal offenses in the UK, Canada, and the United States from this recent effort by President Trump to reverse what he called in his executive order. He called it, and I have the exact words here. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. But the President of the United States issued an executive order dated January 20th, the same day he was inaugurated. This one is called Protecting the American People Against Invasion. Protecting the American people against invasion. If one does not know and one reads that and you're not from these parts, you think it's some extraterrestrial invasion of the United States by non-human beings. But let's set that aside for the moment and deal with an area that may be confusing. This is separate and apart, this executive order, which references 184 Grenadians. I don't know if you have the list. Do you have Trump's list?
I'll pull up the list. Go ahead. I'll pull up the
Right.
list.
Right. Quite separate and apart from the executive order, what we have is the presumed right of the United States to deport persons who were not legally in the United States, that is, citizens of the United States, but who had come from a different country, commits an offense, serve their time, they are then deported. The countries like Grenada and others have the right to tell the United States, we are not going to accept deportees because they have left Grenada, Jamaica, Trinidad 20, 30 years ago. They have been in the United States since they were infants. They only have green cards, but they are not welcome back in our country. The US law actually says that. I remember in the 1990s when I was working with a Jamaican group to see if we can put pressure on the Jamaican government to say they are not going to accept persons who are deported for committing the worst crimes in the United States. I mean, we failed. And I think the reason we failed is the same reason that today Donald Trump can pass an executive order, can make an executive order in which the United States, described as a hyperpower, the most powerful country in the world, will use the force of its economy and its military to say even to Colombia, you are going to take these people into this country, whatever form, shape we send them back in. So it's the same rationale. Today, Donald Trump says there are 184 Grenadians. There are 200 and some thousand Guatemalans. And it's on your list so people could, on your screen so people could look at it. And we are going to send them to you in chains if we have to. Now, the sheer barbarity of this, the cruelty of it, the method in which it's done, I mean, would shock the conscience of anyone. Remember, the United States is a country entirely founded by immigrants. But you see, I did not observe any European countries. Although they have Hungary, I was looking for, they have Ireland, but I was really looking for countries like Norway. I was looking for France. I did not see France. Oh, yes, there's France. So it looks like Donald Trump is an equal opportunity hater. I read the New York Times today on this very issue. And the first place that the FBI went to round up people to send them home was in fact in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
in the Latino community.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this list, by the way, that Trump is relying on to send people home, these are people who are applicants. These are not illegal Aravans or illegal aliens, let's call them that, misnamed. This is not the list of the people who are hiding out from the United States, from the authorities. These are people who have entered either on asylum or there's application for their green cards or for their citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a list, but that is the list the United States is going to selectively choose from to send people back home. I want to know, it would be really interesting to see if he sends any Irish, any Hungarians,
Mm-hmm.
any French people back home in cuffs, in foot chains or handcuffs.
Right.
You see, there is a convention for the way you treat with people who enter your country, and most people know it as the asylum laws,
Right.
right? You are facing some kind of detriment, some kind of repercussion at home. So the laws of the United States and the international law says you cannot send a person back to danger.
Right. Yeah.
Donald Trump doesn't seem to care.
You know, let me first say also the list that I showed there, I cannot independently confirm if that's the current list or if that is an old list. So I show it with a level of caution when I put it on the screen, because again, we cannot Ride Along Live cannot independently verify if this list is a current or an old list. So let me make that blatantly clear. But based on that fact, right, Jerry,
Yes, sir.
the people that are being sent back, like we have the instant in Colombia, where there are two planes that left to drop off or deport folks from Colombia, and the president of Colombia decided that he would not allow these planes to land. And because of the bully pulpit that America has, America said, okay, well, you're not going to take them. Boom, tariffs. Boom, revocation of US visa. Does any Caribbean country have the wherewithal to withstand any kind of tariff or embargo right now if they don't accept or abide with the US demands? Could anybody say no at this point?
Well, as I explained with the deportees law, forget the illegal immigrants now. There has when the United States says, "I am sending this gentleman is now 50 years old. He left Grenada when he was 5. He spent all his years in America. Does not know anyone in Grenada. We are sending him home." We tried to tell the Jamaican government, certainly in the 1990s, that you have a right to refuse to accept these people into your country. But you see, um, the Monroe Doctrine is a reprehensible document and policy of the United States. You
Hmm.
remember Morris Bishop going to Hunter College in early 1983
Yes.
and saying, "We are in nobody's backyard."
Yes.
As far as the United States is concerned, the entire Western Hemisphere belongs to it.
Hmm.
This is since 1824. The United States has invaded virtually every single South American country on that belief.
Hmm.
It was called it's gunboat diplomacy with a 21st century bow around it. There does not exist anyone in the world, save and except for China,
Hmm.
that I mean, we are in the world of realism. There is no one to check the power of the United States, a country that can send its latest weapons and bombs to a friendly country so that it can commit a genocide. And it does not care what the entire world says. They will keep allowing Israel to bomb the Palestinians in Gaza and elsewhere. Well, let's take a smaller problem. The President of the United States says, I want to send people back who are applying to regularize their status. I want to send them back to your country. Who is going to say no? So this is geopolitics at play here, with just an abuse of human rights, because there are people coming from Syria, from sub-Saharan Africa, from Venezuela, Guatemala, hundreds of thousands of people from Nicaragua, fleeing many conditions put in place by American policy. And those people are going to be sent back to the countries, many of them war-torn countries, because an American president believes that the United States is being invaded. I mean, when you say it, you realize how ludicrous it is, and you wonder how in 2025, a quarter into the next millennia, that the most powerful country in the world is afraid of people who want to come to make a better life and to improve that country. So in the United States now, for the next 4 years or maybe longer, we'll see, there is a disconnect between reality and the aspirations of a totally right-wing government. Human rights is on the back burner in the United States. You hear it from the Justice Department with Mr. Patel, who is about to become the FBI director. You hear it from the United Nations nominee, who says that the Bible is a deed so that a country can claim its right to a piece of land is based on biblical text. You hear it from the just confirmed Secretary of Defense, who is an Islamophobe, who says that Muslim countries are inherently hostile to the United States. So what the President of the United States is doing, what Donald Trump is doing, speaks to a shift, a total shift in U.S. relations, not just the policy of the United States, but its relations to people from the developing world. We will be the first to be deported. And what the people in Chicago are afraid of is the sweep. Because you see, there is no selecting, there is no way to select persons who are under the radar, who do not want to be caught. So what will happen? They will go, the immigration authorities will go to Brooklyn, will go down to 51st and Church and Clarkson Avenue and sweep the streets. That's what they are starting to do in Chicago. On the evening of the 20th, when Trump was inaugurated, they literally swept an area of Chicago and picked up everybody. Whether you are a green card holder, whether you are a citizen, whatever the case is, they will pick you up and sift through it later. This is the new United States.
How much of this is actually happening and how much of it is fear mongering? Because here's what I think, right? They had a picture that was circulating from the Justice Department, or some part of the U.S. Department of Immigration, where a ton load of people was just lined up next to a military plane, right? And that stoked a lot of fear because those was immigrants that was coming through from Mexico to come into the United States. And then they show another PR where now migrants who would have been coming through that port now saying, I ain't think I'm gonna do it no more because you see how they treat them over there. So how much of it is actually reality, and how much of it is just fear mongering? You think?
You know, I think it's time for us to take the current president of the
Uh-huh.
United States at his word. At his word. He said what he is going to do. And he is that first executive order, take it seriously. I read the New York Times daily. Forgive me. It's a pet peeve I have. And one of the columnists was saying the same thing today. They said that Donald Trump told you he will send 3 million people home.
Right.
He's going to do it. And if you protest, he's going to put tariffs on you.
Yeah.
He is going. Listen, let me say this. Our Grenada, which is 0.0, listen to this. The population of Grenada is 0.0000864 of the entire world.
Yeah.
8.5 billion people,
Yes.
right? 184 people. No, I did a study in about 2006, and we determined that there are in the United States approximately 190,000 Grenadians,
Yeah.
right? In all, we found 235,000 Grenadians in diaspora, at least in the four countries: the United States,
Hmm.
the UK, Canada, and Trinidad and Tobago. That's where most Grenadians who go abroad, that's where we live.
Right. Yeah.
190,000 in the United States. Naturally, most of them in the People's Republic of Brooklyn.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
Donald Trump says, I'm going to send people home. He started in Chicago the very day of his inauguration. There is no coordination between local governments, that is the state of New York, the mayor of New York, the governor of New York, is not involved in this effort. This is a pure federal
Federal.
effort.
Yeah.
State Department, ICE, Homeland Security. So we have to depend on the federal government for information about these roundups. We understand it's happening in Texas, in the border counties already, right? And as I said, in Chicago. Obviously, they're going to move to California,
Hmm.
right? But take Donald Trump at his word. I don't think it's fear mongering at all. He told us what he was going to do, and then we look at his appointees, the people he is appointing to do these, to do his job, his work for him. I mean, he chose little Marco Rubio,
Yeah.
as the state, as the Secretary of State.
Yeah.
Marco Rubio is hostile, completely hostile to Latin America and the Caribbean. He believes Cuba is the worst country in the entire world, right?
Yeah.
And he believes that in South America, the only good government is in Argentina, which is a right wing government that is favorable to Trump. So I think that look, we have our prime minister just spent about a week or so in
China.
China,
Yeah.
and he explained that tiny little Grenada, with a population I told you of 0.000, is China's best friend in the region. Trump's foreign policy is to pivot away from Europe,
Hmm.
from Russia, Ukraine, to end Gaza, and to focus on China. Could Grenada be in the crosshairs of the United States
That's
with the
that's
current position of Donald Trump? I think our prime minister was wise in seeking that alliance and deepening ties with China. Grenada's number one export to the United States is its fish, right?
Mhm.
We sell about 70% of our fish to the United States. We sell the rest of our fish to Jamaica and Trinidad. We export our people
Mhm.
to the United States. And in turn, those people send every year 70, 80 million dollars in repatriated funds back to Grenada, right?
Yes.
I've always argued that we should use those monies in a productive way instead of buying sneakers and tablets and false hair and that kind of thing. We seem to have a deeper relationship evolving with the People's Republic of China.
Mhm.
Yes? China is involved in helping us develop our agriculture, in building some of our infrastructure.
Mhm.
Yes? Um, there's talk of finding an alternative way rather than the SWIFT system of sending money around the world. Because the United States, with the press of one button or one executive order of the United States, can completely end the participation of Grenada and other developing countries in the SWIFT banking system. The
Yes.
SWIFT banking system is what allows us to send money around the world
Mhm.
to anyone we wish to. But the United States Federal Reserve Bank is at the center of all SWIFT transactions. The world has heard of BRICS.
Yeah.
That is Brazil, Russia, India, China. South Africa is a member as well. Iran is now a member. And a number of countries are going to be members of BRICS. BRICS is an attempt to have a different system of money transfers
Right.
around the world. That's what BRICS comes down to. I think the United States will leverage SWIFT and try to deplatform Caribbean countries or any country that does not participate in Donald Trump's foreign policy program. Mia Mottley has spoken about this, and I
Mhm.
think the Antiguan Prime Minister, and for the last decade or so, we have seen the curtailing of banking privileges to these Caribbean islands and the increase in fees that makes it so expensive for our expatriates in the United States and the United Kingdom to send money home.
Yes.
I think we should look forward to an environment in which the United States will become increasingly hostile to any country, any island nation that does not want to follow its edicts. And I
Right.
think that what our prime minister has done, even by cementing that 20-year tie between that friendship between Grenada and China, is actually drawn attention to Grenada
Oh,
because America is about to pivot from the Ukraine war, from Gaza, to look at China. But I welcome the prime minister's move because I think that is going to protect Grenada, in my view, my
right.
respectful view, from the direction in which Donald Trump wants to run roughshod over every single country in what it determines to be its backyard. So
But
it's coming.
in terms of optics, right? In terms of optics, if we have 149 um, nationals, Grenadian nationals who traveled abroad, and for whatever reason they have to be deported, isn't it right optics that Grenada accept them? What under what condition or circumstance Grenada should not accept them?
I don't think that our leaders here, this present government, will not accept our people back home. I
Right.
mean, it's we are going to accept people back home. After all, we accept the Canadian deportees, who that is persons who have committed crimes. They are accepted back home,
Right.
whether from the United States, United Kingdom, Canada. We accept them back home. And if the United States want to be inhumane to Grenadians abroad, we certainly, with open arms and humanely, can welcome our citizens back home. They are not going to the United States to commit any crimes. They are not invading the United States. They're not part of some greater invasion misnamed in that executive order signed on the 20th by Donald Trump. They're trying to do what my mother did 50 years ago, simply trying to make a better life for their families.
Yes.
Most immigrants, most 99% of all immigrants, I wish we had more immigrants coming into Grenada. I think we'll see an improvement in the labor situation and
Yeah.
in the work ethic.
Yeah.
And everybody talks about it, right? But Grenada is a microcosm of the United States in that respect. After all, the hardest working people in the United States are not its own citizens.
True.
It's the immigrants.
True.
It's the immigrants that work 2 and 3 jobs
Yes.
and still go to college,
Yeah.
right? They come from Jamaica, where to Grenada, by the way, where the Grenadian dollar is 55 Jamaican dollars,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's 145 United States, 145 to 1, but it's 55 to 1. The Jamaicans, we are getting a lot of Jamaicans coming here anxious to work. Guyanese coming anxious to work. But that's all immigrants. You go to a country, work hard, so you can send some money home for your family in Mandeville or in Kingston, or if you're in the United States, to St. George's or Bridgetown or Port of Spain. And millions of dollars are repatriated in that way. We don't take advantage of it as countries to say develop it in a productive way. It is used on consumer goods. But I think that humanely, to answer your question, our government certainly will welcome people who are kicked out of the United States inhumanely by the Donald Trump administration. They are our people. We are simply going to improve our lives.
Yeah. Well, what about this part? And we know, I know for a fact, I lived in the United States. I'm living in the United States now for over 30 something years. And what I know for a fact is that a lot of Caribbean people, as you rightfully said, Grenadians, Jamaicans, Trinidadians, and others, when we travel to the United States, we work hard, we go to school, we learn, we do everything that we need to do to better ourselves because we know that we want to help and probably move back here, support our families, sustain businesses, whatever it is. So we don't get into a lot of trouble. But there are situations where they are Grenadians, right? They were sent or they left Grenada from the tender age of probably 2 3 years old. They don't have no friends in Grenada. They don't have no family in Grenada. They have absolutely no ties to Grenada. They left here at a tender age. They go to the United States, and all the criminality that they learned was in the United States. Everything that they learned to do illegally was done in the United States. How could America now say that's not my own? How could America not claim that now and then send that person back to a place like Grenada that don't have no ties, no family, nothing at all? What would happen then?
Well, um, it's the there. I mean, how does an island nation like Grenada stand up to the United States and say no? I mean, that's not realistic. Jamaica had complained to Britain about the number of deportees, people who had left Jamaica as infants. did not regularize their status, committed criminal offenses, and were being deported. And Cameron, the Prime Minister of the UK at the time, said, I have an answer for Jamaica. We're going to send you the money to build the jails so that you could put them in jails in Jamaica. Quite such an insult. I don't think these large countries give two hoots about places like where we come from. I remember Tim Hector from Antigua would say, God bless his soul, he, of course, of blessed revolutionary memory. Tim Hector would say that the Caribbean is basically a place of export. We export our cocoa, our coffee, our nutmegs, and our people. Our Grenadians go to the United States. Many of them aspire to go to college. Many of them excel beyond their wildest imagination when they were at home here in Grenada. We are like all immigrants. But the United States is now hostile to immigrants, all immigrants. It is a sea change in the world. I mean, this, I think, will reverberate for quite some time because you see, the American public, black, white, naturalized, there are Grenadians today who will say, yes, Donald Trump is doing the right thing. There are African Americans who will say, yes, these immigrants are coming and taking our jobs. But what jobs do immigrants take?
The jobs that nobody else want to do.
Listen, I used to park cars when I was in the United. I mean, this is a job. I used to get up in the morning and get newspapers, drive my car, open the door, run down the block, and throw the newspaper on everybody's front stoop. I mean, I became the manager of the New York Times plant. I had 300 and some odd driver. If I had 2 African Americans or 2 white Americans, that was plenty. Mm-hmm. Everybody was an immigrant. Go to California or go to Texas. Go to Washington. Who picks American apples? Their strawberries, their lettuce, the vegetables that they put on their tables. It is not Americans. Naturalized Americans want better jobs. Immigrants are the ones who do the dirty work, right? But they do the dirty work in the daytime, Brother Junior, and then in the nighttime, they're in college.
Yeah.
Right? Right. So, to say that there is some pushback from the Colombia couldn't push back. The Colombian president said, okay, all I'm saying is just don't put them in chains. You can send them back, just take the shackles off.
Yeah.
Right? So that they could be treated with dignity. Now imagine that. He said, I want to clarify this. I want to send these people to, you can send them back, Trump, but just take off the handcuffs. Trump says, what are you talking about? I'm sending them back however I want to. And if I send them back in leg chains, you will accept them. The president of Colombia clarified his remarks. Trump put tariffs on him, on his country. He threatens now to close down the U.S. embassy in Bogota, right? So we're in a new world. I think we have to adjust to a new America. The America we knew no longer exists. It's a new country now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Jerry, you could take that call. Let me just talk here a little bit. Guys, you're watching Ridealong Live, and we want to take your input on it. And this is not a scare tactic. This is not to get anyone frightened to stay indoors, not go outside, not send their children to school. None of that stuff. I mean, since we started Ridealong Live, we have been always clamoring, always speaking about if you are in the United States as a Caribbean or anyone for that matter, and your status has not been adjusted, please try to regularize that. Please try to fix that. I've been saying this from day one. We've been having immigration conversation from since we started this platform. So a lot of people, they sat on their hands. Some people did nothing. Some people did take advantage of the opportunity. We're saying no, guys. Even if you have a green card, even if you have a green card, don't think that you are okay or that you could go and lash out at other people who are undocumented. You are just an upscale, upgraded visa. So don't feel, and I hear this all the time, people mocking people, oh, you're going to get deported, or you're illegal immigrant, and all of this nonsense. The truth and the fact about it is, when you look at the people that are mocking the immigrants that's not documented, they have a green card. And that doesn't mean that they too can get deported. Remember, guys, a green card, as we establish here, a green card, if you have a green card, you are basically knocking on those doors when you come back in and asking for permission to re-enter. You are not naturalized. You are not a citizen. So stop mocking and feel like you reach where you have to reach because you have a green card. All right? If you're undocumented at this time, we urge you to, there are still ways that you can get your green card and get out of this fear that you go through. That I understand how you feel. Now, there are no executive order, and there can be no executive order that changes the process at this point in time in terms of how you get naturalization. It's in the Constitution. It has to go through a longer process. So Donald Trump can just write an executive order and say nobody could get a green card. The process is still open for you if you want to change your status, adjust your status in the United States. You still could do it through all the means and ways that we establish here on the program. So again, the people who have their green card and you feel like you reach where you have to reach, just keep in mind and remember that you might be mocking someone and feel like you could call immigration on someone or ICE on someone or fear or get these people scared or what have you, and you're sitting on a green card. Don't feel you reach where you have to reach, all right? And I want you guys to understand that we are still...
One thing, Junior, if I may respond to something, to what you just said. Remember, Donald Trump has put a freeze. Is it a 90-day freeze, 100-day? But there's a freeze on new citizenship applications in the United States. He has put a freeze on it. His immigration czar, listen, this is worse than you think. And I don't know if you could have, I know my friend Joseph Lane is going to have Brian Figueroa, who you know from Brooklyn.
Yes.
Attorney Brian Figueroa, he's an immigration lawyer. And for the last 20 years, he's been doing exactly what you just discussed, encouraging Caribbean people to regularize their status beyond the green card. Maybe he was prescient. I think the objective is to whiten the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And it's rather it's strange to engage in a discussion of to try and find racial rationales for some of the decisions that we see before us. One would think there'll be national security concerns that would force the United States to take the steps that it's to go in the direction it is going.
Mm-hmm.
But although it is couched as such, that somehow the United States is under threat, there is no evidence of it.
Right.
Look, I look at the American, the cabinet that Trump has put together, and we listen to what he has said. Prepare for the worst. And for those of you, let me speak directly to our Grenadian sisters and brothers. get something on the rock here. This is where you are from. This is home. No, you're a first-class citizen here. I spent 43 years in America, and I never, ever at any time, whether I worked at Rockefeller Center, Two Rock Center, whether I worked at the World Trade Center, the Merrill Lynch building, I can tell you, I never one day felt like a first-class citizen in the United States because I was not. That's another person's country.
Yeah.
So Donald Trump is making it clear. And he has the backing of black and white Americans, most of them anyway. And we really wish that our people can see the America that once was the shining light for immigrants is probably fading into darkness. And there's a new reality. We want to adjust to this. We want to ensure that we take advantage of the opportunities remaining in the United States. I was going to say that go to school and go to college, but Donald Trump has frozen all federal loan programs.
And that's what I was getting at right now. This news bit that I'm showing on screen right now, the White House ordered a freeze on all federal financial assistance, and that is confirmed here. That's the clip, and I think we could get a little piece of that clip right now. Let me listen to this piece. Just a quick piece from CNN.
I don't think we cannot get any audio.
Okay, sorry. All right, cool. So sorry if we're not hearing any audio, but the clip there is speaking to the White House ordered a freeze on all federal financial assistance. And that clip, I'll put that in some sort of vlog and post it out there so so everyone would get to see it and hear
Yeah,
it.
you see what has happened because I have progressive friends in the United States, African Americans. I remember there's a professor named Gerald Horne, Horne, and I would encourage people to look at some of his podcasts on YouTube. And before the election, he said, he said there are only two outcomes from this election, the 2024 election.
Mm-hmm.
If Kamala Harris and the Democrats win, there will be a world war because they are going to they're going to throw everything against Russia and let Israel rip up the Middle East. So that's a world war. If Donald Trump wins, Donald Trump is going to remake America and you'll have a civil war. Right? Well, I live in Grenada. If I live in the United States, I wouldn't mind if the Democrats win. I live in the United States. I don't want a world war. I thought it would be a good thing if Trump wins. At least we would be safe here in Little Grenada. Because Trump is going to bring policies in the United States that's going to be hostile to immigrants, first and foremost, and secondly, people of color.
Yeah.
And all his political opponents. Right? I think that we have to come to terms. You see, it's difficult for us to think of the United States with its, there's a certain openness, respect for human rights. Yes, in the United States. You said, Junior, that Donald Trump could not just do anything. There's a constitution and there are laws. Well, he has announced that he's going after birthright citizenship.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. That.
He has 5 votes on the Supreme Court.
Yes.
That's the majority.
Yes.
That's the majority.
In reference to that, I'm saying with an executive order, he cannot just write an executive order to deal with that. It has to go up as a bill presented, go through the process, go through the House, go through the Senate, and then he signed it. But you're right. that may not be even challenged because of the Supreme Court and everyone of his singing the same song in the hymn book.
Remember that when he was president, he appointed over 200 new federal judges, MAGA judges, right? When he came out with that executive order, they said they were going to, his acting attorney general, the guy who defended him, by the way, in the New York case, right? That he has now made his private lawyer an assistant attorney general of the United States. And their objective, as they see it, is to make America safe again.
Right.
But two questions arises. When was the United States ever great?
Right.
At least for all its citizens. Or when was the United States ever safe for all its citizens?
Yeah.
There is something else at work here, and I just want to urge people from this beautiful part of the world, which is their home, please invest in your country. Invest in your country.
Yeah, absolutely. We got
Come back home, build something. Right now in Grenada, you can get a university education, Junior.
Mm-hmm.
You can become a doctor right here in Grenada. I remember in 2007, I needed a root canal. No, it was 2009. I needed a root canal. And my wife said to me, that's $6,000 in the United States. Why are you going to do that?
Cheaper in Grenada.
Come to Grenada. It'll cost you $2,500 US. I mean EC.
EC.
2,500 EC. I bought a first class ticket, came to Grenada, got my root canal, and had change when I came back to the United States.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
All the dentists in Grenada, by the way, Junior, attended either Cuba. Well, we have a couple from Cuba, but most of them went to New York University, the #1 dental school in the entire world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? In Grenada, we have primary health care. One of the best primary health care systems in the entire world. In fact, in the Caribbean, we have the best public healthcare system, maybe second only to Cuba, or maybe Germany, perhaps Canada, but certainly better than the United States. I hear all people say, well, the healthcare system in Grenada is horrible. That's why I cannot come home. I'm getting old and I really need to be close to Uncle Sam because I can go to Kings County when I am ill. Compare public health at Kings County to the United States. Only thing that in the United States is better is specialized care. And you can always jump on JetBlue, and 4 hours later, you get your medical attention, and you come back home to beautiful Grenada, where you are a first-class citizen.
Yeah.
I think Trump is the best ambassador for persons who are from the Caribbean
to come back,
to get their butts back home.
Yeah. Let me just add right here, just as we said about the federal aid that was frozen, a federal judge temporarily blocked Trump administration freeze on federal grant. We got a clip. I'm not sure if you're going to hear it. Let's try it again.
Seen officers making arrests in the Bronx and taking multiple people into custody.
The second story has to do with the freeze on federal grants and loans, which just went into effect. It could affect everything from nonprofits to local government grants and small business loans. The White House noted that last year, $3 trillion was spent on federal assistance programs. We have team coverage. Marcia Kramer is standing by with a new response from Mayor Adams about federal agents in the city. Jennifer Bistrom has details on the arrests made today.
But let's start first here with Lisa Rosner and that.
Right. So that's a clip. Again, we have no right to show the entire clip. I just wanted to put it into context where the freeze on federal grant has been temporarily blocked by a federal judge. So of course, you know, there are the United States is not a monarch, so Trump still cannot do what he wants and say what he wants and put whatever he wants. The courts still have a standing. He might turn around and fire that federal judge.
No, he cannot fire the federal judge. No,
Can't fire the federal judge.
he may want to, but he
Okay.
cannot fire the judge.
Okay.
Let us hope that the appellate court, because
Right.
this decision that he is making, that this executive order that he has signed now, will end up in the appellate court. This is a district court judge.
Okay.
In the federal system, you have a district court, then you have the appellate court in that circuit. So, for example, New York, I'll speak to the New Yorkers, I know it better. New York is in the second federal circuit. That is Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and New York. That's the second circuit. The district court sitting in downtown New York, in New York City, downtown Manhattan, that judge, just like in this case, a federal judge will block the executive order. The plaintiffs, being the United States government, will appeal it to the other level, the Court of Appeal of the Second Circuit. That court will rule. The other level is the DC Court of Appeal, the District of Columbia, where the Supreme Court sits, and then the Supreme Court of the United States. So let us hope that the MAGA judges do not agree with Trump. I think you are right in that respect. In spite of the politicking and the ideologues in the Trump administration running this right-wing set of policies, you will recall that in the 2020 elections, most of the judges who ruled against Trump when he said that he had won the election, he was cheated, most of them were Republican judges, right, who voted against him. That is our only hope now for the United States. And as a lawyer, I can tell you that we are so reliant and hopeful now because the last line of defense against tyranny is either the courts or the people going to the streets. But then that would be the civil war that Professor Gerald Horne spoke about. And I don't see that to be outside the realm of possibilities, especially with the immigration issue. Can you imagine the border states like El Paso, Texas, El Paso, right? Majority immigrants. Will the people in El Paso allow ICE officers to come in and raid schools, daycares, city blocks, looking for illegal immigrants? In a state, by the way, where it's legal to open carry a weapon. The United States is on a precipice. Something has got to give. And if the courts do not restrain Donald Trump, we may yet have that civil war.
That's something that I'm really anticipating. But Jerry, what about the sanctuary cities like New York? And does it even exist anymore?
Oh no, Donald Trump. Well, let's look at New York. Eric Adams, with his own political problems, a progressive. I mean, someone I know, I remember Eric Adams well, a bona fide progressive, has now become he's a law and order mayor. I cannot believe this.
Well, he was a police officer.
A former police officer. Actually, When he became a lieutenant, I remember the day Eric Adams became a lieutenant, because the day he became a lieutenant, he appeared at one of our forums in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry, 126th Street in Harlem at the Harriet Tubman School. We were having one of our anti-apartheid forums, and Eric came, and I mean, here he was, an officer who was really fighting the brutality and the racism within the NYPD. Today, Eric Adams has ended the program to assist immigrants from Venezuela, Guatemala, and the Caribbean in New York City. But Donald Trump had signaled that already. He ended the sanctuary city movement when between 2017 and 2021, 2020. He actually ended that entire program. When Biden came back into office, it was through executive order that he brought back the sanctuary city movement. But as you know, executive orders are begun by one president and ended by the next. They short circuit the passage of bills in their normal course. That is the Senate and then the Congress, White House, Senate, Congress, right? House of Representatives. Donald Trump has ended that entirely. So to bypass the normal route of passage of a bill, they pass executive orders. So I don't think you're going to see a movement towards sanctuary cities, not when Donald Trump has won the House, the Senate, and the White House, and he owns 5 seats on the Supreme Court. I think sanctuary cities that were so vibrant in the 80s, 90s, the early part of the 2000s, I don't think you're going to see that coming back anytime soon.
Wow. Wow. Um, Jerry, listen, I'm really happy and thankful for this conversation, but I don't mean to scare anyone into this. I still want to tell my friends and family and folks that are watching near and far, they are still a part to adjust your status. This has not changed, right? The process of obtaining a green card, the I-130, whatever, all this stuff that we speak about here on Ride Along Live with our attorney, Gianni Winterfunde, is still a process you could go through. We will have Gianni Winterfunde, our legal expert, back on the program sometime this week to speak more and to encourage you more of why you should still go through the process of adjusting your status. I know how it feels, guys. I live like that for 12, 13 years. I understand. That's why I am dedicated in helping folks adjust their status. And this is not to scare anyone. This conversation is not to get anyone frightened about the process, but just to keep you aware as to what's happening. But we passed that time, Jerry. Any last word, Jerry, before we wrap up this segment?
My Grenadian sisters and brothers, you don't need a visa to come home. Yes? Invest in your country. Even if you want to remain in the United States, invest in your country. And the road to wealth is the same in the United States as it is in Grenada. The way to a better fortune, a better future for yourself and your children. Get some land in Grenada. Get Piece of the Rock. Get some comfort in knowing that when things are not so rosy in your second home in Europe, in North America, you are always welcome in your own country where you could be a first-class citizen. I never knew the feeling of the average white American, those who called me nigger in Massachusetts or in South Carolina or in Virginia. I couldn't understand how they felt. But then I came to Grenada and I had the feeling of a first-class citizen, something I had never experienced in my adult life. Regardless of your station in life, being in a place where you are equal under the law to everyone else is a tremendous, it's existential joy. And so I would just urge people If the United States does not work out for you, Grenada is yours. Come home. You see that sign on the airport? It doesn't say welcome to Grenada, you know. It says welcome to paradise. Come home.
Yeah, I know the
We
feeling.
welcome you home.
I know
And
the
it's not the end of the world if Donald Trump puts you in a handcuff and sends you to Grenada. It's the start of a new chance. Because what you have learned in the United States is to the benefit of Grenada and building your own country. That's my take on it. Thank you for having me, Junior.
Thank you so much, Jerry, Edwin. We appreciate you, my brother. Thanks so
All
much
right,
for
brother.
your call.
And good night, everyone. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Yeah. Guys, Jerry said it right. I got some other information I want to share with you guys. Let's take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. You're watching Ride Along Live.
Looking for the ultimate island experience? Hop on the Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tour and explore Grenada like never before. Feel the tropical breeze, sip on authentic Caribbean rum punch, and cruise through Grenada's stunning scenery in our unique and fun tuk-tuks. It's the perfect blend of adventure and island flavor. Book your unforgettable tour now at ride.gd or call 473-422-1011. Don't just see Grenada, experience it with Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tours today.
Don't forget, guys, if you want to get around the city and you want to book a nice excursion on tour, you want to go to your friends, girlfriends, homeboys, you guys want to hang out, bar hopping, this is an opportunity for you. Ride Tuk Tuk. Wow. Ride Tuk Tuk night out. Book your Tuk Tuk ride, guys. And we have some new fleet of Tuk Tuks, you see? All colors, all shapes, all sizes. Ah, boy. Yeah, I'm just loving these Tuk Tuks. More so that it's in Grenada. We're doing it in Grenada. All right? It's here. Happy to be here. Let me say this, guys. A few months ago, actually, I did a program. I was very upset that I came into Grenada with a Grenada passport, and I encountered someone at the it wasn't immigration. I cleared immigration fine. It wasn't a problem. It was some guys at the port. That particular individual at the port, and one of the questions he asked me that really upset me was when he said, "How long you staying?" And I told that brother, I said, "Listen, don't ask me that question again." I did a whole vlog on it. So that's not the first time you're hearing that story. I said, "Don't ask me that question again." All right. I said, "I could stay as long as I want. I'm from here. I'm Grenadian." Furthermore, I give him my Grenadian passport. I give him my Grenadian passport. So this is home. You can't tell me, you can't ask me that question. So develop a different question to ask returning nationals, right? Ask another question. Don't ask someone from Grenada how long they stayed. I say all of this to say because the truth and in fact is, if you are from here, you could stay for as long as you want. Nobody could ask you. Nobody should ask you that question. And they never asked me that question again because I get very upset with them. I even reported the guy to upper management. I went as far as the minister, I think, because I think one other time they asked me that question, I was very, very, very upset about it. And some other guy standing outside, he said, they asked him the same question. So this is home. Whether from Grenada, Trinidad, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Dominica, wherever you're from, this is your home. Nobody could deport you from your home. Nobody could take you away from your home. This is your home. You may travel abroad. You may get riches. You may learn things abroad. But at the end of the day, this is home. No place sweeter than home. No place sweeter than home. So you guys see me here a lot these days because, you know what I mean? I've been always contributing back to my country. Never forsake the place that I came from. Although I've traveled around the world, I could stay in the US for as long as I want, or Canada, or where have you. but I chose to be here for an extended period of time. I chose to build a business here in Grenada. Although I shall say, Jerry said something here. He said that, that's your place. You can be a first-class citizen. And that is true. Of course, you just be prepared for, and this is true, a lot of times, and it's painful to say, a lot of times when you decide to invest and you decide to do something in your own country, a lot of people come with that negative, for another show. But remember this, that this is home. This is where you're from. This is your rock. And I hope and pray that nobody asks me that question again. How long I staying? When I going back? It's home. It's home, man. Damn right. Yeah. Yeah, man. How you mean?
Ride along live worldwide. Feel the beat, feel the vibe.
Attention, Grenadians and friends. Join us for a night of celebration and culture as the Consulate General of Grenada in New York, in collaboration with the Grenada Independence Anniversary Committee, proudly present Grenada's 51st Anniversary of Independence Gala. Mark your calendars for Saturday, February 1st at the Anthems located at 9643 Springfield Boulevard in Queens Village. The festivities kick off at 9 p.m. and continue until 2 a.m. Formal attire is required. Enjoy an unforgettable evening filled with vibrant entertainment from the sensational InSync band and DJ Jude. Tickets are just $200 and they are available by calling the Grenada Consulate at 212-599-0301. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to celebrate Grenada's independence with friends and family. Join us for a night of unity, joy, and pride in our heritage. We can't wait to see you.
Yeah.
Along live worldwide. Feel the beat, feel the
Let me tell you something. So recently, we added this really great excursion. It's a paddle boat, right? And the reason why I added this paddle boat, I said it before, but let me say it again because some of you guys didn't hear my story the first time. I traveled all over the world. And one year I decided to come to Grenada in a cruise ship. So I sat on the cruise ship, and every destination we went to, right, I had a group of people that we had dinner with. So it became like a clique, about 6 or 7 of us. So every country they went to, I would ask them, I say, so how did you like St. Lucia? How did you like Barbados? How did you like Aruba, Bonaire, St. Martin, right? When we got to Grenada, I went to them and I said, how did you like my country? They said, I love your country. Your country is splendid. I love it. I love it. I love it. The only thing is there was not a lot to do. That's what they told me. There was not a lot to do. And from the time I heard that was about 4 years ago or so, I said to myself, my goal is to change that, right? So I did a lot of research and check-in and investment, and I decided to bring some things, a whole set of things. Even some of you guys say you bring too much things. Let it be too much than too less. So I started, you guys remember, we started with the e-bikes. And that went viral, and a lot of people got a chance to see Grenada, the inside of Grenada, not just outskirts. They got to see inside the mountain kind of thing. We brought the e-bikes, and people didn't quite understand, like, what are you doing? The fact was, I had a plan and a vision at that time saying that I am going to bring these items to Grenada. Then, of course, you guys know, yes, the e-bike, a major success. It did well. People didn't quite understand the whole concept. Nevertheless, shortly after that, guys, 2 months ago, we decided to add tuk-tuks. Yeah, tuk-tuks. Call it Baja, tuk-tuk, three-wheel bike, whatever you want to call it, right? So we added tuk-tuks, and that was about a month ago. Now, Grenada is about the second Caribbean island that have tuk-tuks. So there are tuk-tuks in Antigua, and there are tuk-tuks in Grenada as a tourist or as a tourist attraction. So people would say, I love the tuk-tuk because I've been to it in St. Lucia. Other than that, Bangladesh and China and Africa, those are the places that they see these things. But Grenada now have tuk-tuks, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring tuk-tuks here. Although a lot of you guys don't understand the vision, nevertheless, that was my why. That was my why. And recently, as I said, we decided to add the infamous water bike. I saw it in Bahamas and I thought it was a great addition. It would be a great addition to the tourism product. And so we brought in the water bike. Now, I'm giving you guys an opportunity to experience this. All the riders for a limited time, for a limited time, I'm going to offer some free rides to all of the riders. So if you watch Ridealong live and you are a true rider and you want to experience this ride water bikes, just to experience how it is, click that link right there or call in and I'll give you a promo code. You could go to the beach at Grand Anse and get a free ride. A free ride. You don't get better than free, right? You don't get better than free. First time, eh? So it has to be a first time rider. Okay? All right. So take advantage of this, guys, because this is a Grenadian brother who is doing this. This is your thing. This could only grow, and this will only grow. All right. We need to be a part of building something and being a part of something that is big, that is world class, that nobody could say, or nobody could take away. Right in our turf, on our island, in our country, we could do something like this and make the whole world proud to come to Grenada and say, I had this in Grenada and I love this in Grenada. All right. So we have the tuk-tuk. Use the tuk-tuk, guys. Get the tuk-tuk. Rent the tuk-tuk. Go and take a night out in the tuk-tuk. Jump on the e-bike, because we are employing 10, 12 people right now, and that affects a lot of families. Utilize that so we could grow. All right? Absolutely. Ride. It's only up from here, guys. Only up from here. Right? Exactly.
Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island, strong with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright, tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight, every ride is sheer delight. Making waves across the seas, love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please, bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island, strong with the host, we belong.
What if you had a choice? A choice of joining a line or a choice of making your purchases online? What would you choose? While you ponder on that, the National Lotteries Authority has provided another purchasing option. All their games are now available online. Yes, Grenadians! From wherever you are, purchase your favorite daily and jackpot-type games using any electronic device. Register on the NLA's website at www.nla.gd. Top up your account and enjoy online lottery gaming at your convenience. We're taking shopping comfort up several notches, but the choice is yours. Join a line or buy online. NLA, make your dreams come true.
Are you a progressive young leader, a proactive emerging executive, a rising professional? Then you need appropriate cover for your vehicle. Introducing the Pro Motor Plan from Beacon. Car insurance that includes free loss of use, windscreen cover up to $3,500, free special perils, free accident forgiveness. Get Beacon's Pro Motor Plan today. Don't procrastinate. Call Beacon today at 440-4447 or
Once again, I want to say thank you to our team in Grenada and around the world who continue to support Ridealong Live. We have the #1 program worldwide. Now we have a growing tourism business, and we're only successful because of you. So we say thank you to everyone. For more information on Ride, you can go to ride.gd. That's ride.gd. Let me put the website up. ryde.gd. That's where you can check us out online. Ride.gd.
Power to the people, we shine. Giving fans what they need. Caribbean spirit, let's succeed. Every show with a good deed. Together we plant the seed. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride a sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride a sheer delight.
Ridealong Live.
Let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host, we belong.